When the enemy's within me, picture me, my identity's when they're checking my pedigree. This is my autobiography, more than a philosophy. Life is living and I gotta be driven, given my history, rising above the odds of World War Who? You, World War Who? It's up, World War Who? It's true, I think we're fighting ourselves. World War Who? World War Who? It's you, World War Who? It's self, I think I'm fighting myself.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of the World War U podcast with your host, as always, Mansfield. And in today's episode, what we want to talk about is why it is important for you to master your craft. Why it is important for you to master your craft. Now, everywhere you look, you hear people talking about mastery. How people are just separating themselves from the rest and becoming the greats. So in sports, you hear names like Michael Jordan, you hear Usain Bolt, you hear Steph Curry, you hear LeBron James, you hear Lionel Messi, you hear Serena Williams. This is because they've mastered their art so much that they've separated from anything that can call itself competition. They've done certain things that anyone else in their field is failing to do or will never be able to do. Now, this also applies to you in your life, that whatever you are pursuing, whatever it is, whether it's school, whether it's a business, whether it's sport, whether it's at work, you need to master your art. And the only way that you can achieve mastery is by increasing your training capacity. The only way you can achieve mastery is by increasing your training capacity. Now, what I mean by this is that you need to get to a level where you know so much about your craft that it's second nature. You need to know so much about your craft that it's muscle memory. And that only comes through training, that only comes through practice. That's how you achieve these things. There is no way that you can take a shortcut to becoming a master. You have to take the full journey. It takes 18 years old for you to be 18 years old. So there is no shortcut in there that you can take to say, you know what, I'm 16 now, but I'm just going to jump these 2 years and become 18. It doesn't work like that. But you need to go through those motions. You need to go through those processes. You need to make mistakes, figure things out, and then you get to that place that you need to get to. You see this even when you watch movies. I'm sure most of you have watched the movie Troy. There's two names that stand out in that movie. There's Hector and there's Achilles. These two names are so prominent because these guys were champion fighters. When it came to fighting, if you hear the name Achilles or you hear the name Hector, you knew you were in for a bad day, because they'd proven themselves as champion fighters. And I remember when Achilles is asked by one of the people that, why hasn't someone defeated you? I mean, you're not the strongest. You're not the fastest. But why hasn't someone defeated you? And his response was as simple, and all he said was, I want what every man wants. But when it really comes down to it, I wanted more than they wanted. So Achilles would train every single day. He knew he was good. He knew he was great at what he was doing. But he still trained every single day because he understood that when it came down to it, he had to want to win more than every other man wanted to win. So where are you right now in your life where you are saying, this is what I want for my life, or this is what I want in my life? But are you willing to actually put in the work that will separate you from everyone else who's doing what you are doing? You want a promotion at work, but are you willing to put in the effort that you actually get recognized and you can take it to your boss and say, this is my work, this is why you should promote me? Or you just want to be promoted because you've been in the business for 5 years, but you've got a crazy work ethic. Your performance is mediocre, it's under par, but because you've been there long enough, you feel you deserve a promotion. But if you do not increase your training capacity, you are never going to reach that potential that you think you are going to reach. If you do not increase your training, if you do not study, if you do not master, if you do not practice, you are never going to separate yourself from the people that are doing exactly what you are doing. And that's where the greats stand apart. That's why you hear the name Hector, that's why you hear the name Achilles, because they've proven time and time again, but they never stopped to practice or to train. Even though they knew they were sweet, they did not stop to train and to practice. Why? Because that is what it's about. If you do not increase your capacity, you are going to burn when it comes to you actually doing what you need to do. We all know the story of David and Goliath, right? it was so easy for Goliath to defeat David because size-wise, Goliath was a giant and he was a trained fighter. But what Goliath did not realize is that David had the capacity to kill animals. So Goliath thought he was facing a warrior or a fighter or a soldier. What he did not realize was that he was fighting someone who was trained in killing beasts. So when David saw Goliath, he didn't see a man, he saw a beast. And he had grown his capacity in fighting the lion and the bear. So it was so easy for David to defeat Goliath because he saw him as an animal, as compared to Goliath defeating David because he had never fought a shepherd before. So I hear a lot of people say, you know what, when an opportunity comes, I'm going to rise to the occasion. And I'll tell you, that is the biggest lie that society will ever sell you. You do not rise to the occasion. You revert back to your training. There is no such thing as rising up to the occasion. You revert back to what you know. Mike Tyson said it in a plain, simple way. Everyone's got a plan when they walk into the ring until they get punched in the mouth. When that first blow lands, your plan goes out the window. But what you can bet on is your training, because you've been knocked down before. You've been punched in the mouth before. So this is where your training comes into play, to say, I've been in this position before. How do I get myself back up? If you've never been in that position before, you have no idea what's happening. That's going to be lights out for you. So this is why it's very important for you to increase your capacity in training, to master whatever it is you are doing, so that it becomes second nature. It becomes so in tune with who you are, even when you are sleeping, or regardless of whatever else you're doing. When you're told to do that one thing, you will do it with your eyes closed. So training is important. Whatever it is you're chasing in your life, whatever your gift is, whatever your purpose is right now, whatever it is you are chasing, increase your training capacity. That's how you get to the level of mastery. It took Usain Bolt 4 years of training for him to run 9 seconds. 9 seconds took him 4 years. But I'll tell you now, it's going to take people more years to break that record. That's how much work he put into. It's not about the actual race, it's about what you do behind closed doors. That's where people win games. That's where people win championships. That's where people win business deals. It's what you do behind closed doors. But because you want to be seen, because you want to take shortcuts, you don't want to trust the process, or you don't even want the process, you are never going to be great. So that's all I just wanted to share with you guys, that whatever it is you're chasing, whatever it is you're going after, just make sure you master it. That is where your sweet spot is. Make sure you master it. Learn as much as you can. Train as much as you can. Practice as much as you can. Fail fast as much as you can. That is how greats are made. That's all I just wanted to share with you guys. Hope you and yours are safe.
World War Who? You. World War Who? It's up. World War Who? It's you. I think we're fighting ourselves. World War Who? World War Who? It's you. World War Who? It's up. I think I'm fighting myself.